It's a new year, and with T-Mobile, it's not about how far apart we are. It's about how close we can be. So we're bringing out our best deal. Right now, get the iPhone 12 on us on every single plan with eligible iPhone trade-in.
So I can FaceTime with my sister in Savannah.
That's right, the iPhone 12 on us on every plan. All on America's 5G leader in coverage. T-Mobile.
With 24 monthly bill credits and a new line plus tax. If you cancel, credit stop and balance on required finance agreement may be due. Contact us for well-qualified buyers. Qualifying consumer plan required. See coverage and offer details at T-Mobile.com.
Now here is your Tuesday sports betting podcast brought to you by me, Joe Duffy of OffshoreInsiders.com. Yeah, been in this business a long time. Have had a lot of great runs, but as far as a run over about 70 games, 65, 70 games, 64 to be exact, I guess. Well, it excludes pushes, so maybe a couple more. 49-15 basketball run. Perhaps more impressively, in the postseason, we have swept every single postseason basketball portfolio except for two, going back to the Elite Eight. Yeah, we swept the Final Four. Red hot entering the Final Four, and well, as I said, 49-15 basketball run. Two NBA sides led by a wise guy play, which is the strongest play in the handicapping industry. We've got a Major League Baseball Juicy Lucy as well. That means either an underdog of 140 or more, or a run line game in which we lay the 1.5 and get back at least 140, and it's all at OffshoreInsiders.com. We're going to get to some news and notes. Why don't we start out with NBA trends for today? All records are ATS, and of course, these trends reports go back to the Scorephone days of the 1980s. You've loved it every year since. Milwaukee and Boston, all records are against the spread. Milwaukee 5-11 following a straight-up win. Kind of rare to see teams that have losing ATS records in the playoffs, but in the case of the Bucks, they do. 8-20 versus a team with a winning record. 7-19 when their opponent allows 100 or more of their previous game. They've actually dropped 6 of 7 quarterfinal games. Boston, meanwhile, 7-1 at home, 7-1 in the conference quarterfinals, 24-8 against a team that scored 100 points or more their previous game, 46-22 after scoring 100 points or more in their last game. Some head-to-head action. The Boston is actually 6-1 in the series, including 4-1 at home in the series. Milwaukee has gone over 18-5 after scoring 100 points or more their previous game. Boston has gone over 10-1 overall, and 10 out of the last 11 in the series have gone over in Boston. Miami and the Philadelphia 76ers. Miami 19-7 on the road against teams with a home winning percentage of 600 or better. However, they are 3-8 overall and 0-4 when playing on 2 days rest. Philadelphia, meanwhile, 11-2 following a spread win. They are 20-7 at home overall, 25-10 after allowing 100 points or more in their previous contest, and 64-30 against an opponent that scored 100 points or more in their previous contest. The favorite has covered 4 of the last 5 as far as some over-under trends are concerned. Miami has gone under 12-2 in Tuesday games. The Philadelphia 76ers have gone over 6-2 to the Eastern Conference. San Antonio and Golden State, the Spurs 3-7 following a straight-up win of double digits. They have dropped 9 consecutive road games. Golden State 26-8 in the quarterfinals, but 4-12 against teams with a winning record. And Golden State is 3-12 when playing on 1 day's rest. The favorite has covered 9 of the last 11 in the series. Golden State is 8-3 in this series. San Antonio has gone over 6-2 with 1 day's rest. They've gone over 6-1 in the conference quarterfinals. Golden State, conversely, has gone under 18-7 after allowing 100 points or more in their previous game. Series has gone over 6-1 in Golden State. Some news and notes. Milwaukee and Boston, look, this series has been as even as it gets. Of course, Boston won in overtime. Yeah, that was a rare, lucky cover for us. We did have the favorite in overtime. But then Milwaukee covers with that baseline jumper, Giannis. winds up evening this series. So each team has won a very close game, and the series, of course, is tied at 2. Should note, doesn't apply just to this game, applies to every series game 2 or higher. The blind zigzag has plummeted to 531 and 515, including 35 and 55 the last 2 years, though mostly from last year. This year, I believe it is one game above 500. But again, we report, you decide. But 37.5% over the last 2 years. If you're a newbie, the zigzag essentially, well, doesn't essentially, it says to go in game 2 or higher, going with the team that lost the previous game in the series to cover the spread. Miami and Philadelphia take the road team in a battle of two high-scoring teams, the home team being fat and happy off a win. Road team has been scoring well lately, is 290 and 188. That includes the regular season, but it's also 8-4 in the playoffs. Going against teams on a straight-up winning streak, against teams on a straight-up losing streak, 502 and 381. That holds up in the playoffs. It's 78 and 52. However, large postseason favorites are 99 and 64. The public loves betting dogs in the playoffs. They hate betting them during the regular season. But in the playoffs, in every single sport, then the public comes around to betting underdogs. So not surprisingly, that's the only time that favorites do pretty well long-term is in the postseason. 34 and 15 when the big favorite has at least 2 series wins. Young 76ers, will they have a little bit more sense of urgency than most teams that are up 3-1 and think they want to close out this series, being a young team? So there should be a sense of urgency, even though it is a true do-or-die for Miami. San Antonio and Golden State, everything we told you about the big favorites in the postseason do apply to Golden State. Since 2003, favorites of 9 or more off of a same series playoff loss of 12 or more. Perfect 7-0. Straight up in ATS, listen to this, 102.1 to 84.7 margin. Another one that has to do with big favorites off of a blowout loss. A little bit of a complicated system, but it is 225 and 174. It applies to Golden State, but as we said, kind of consistent with the zigzag taking a nosedive the last 2 years. This one not quite as bad, but those big favorites off of a big loss, 17 and 25. Only significant line moves on the total. Philadelphia and Miami. The total opened up at 211.5. It's now up to 215. Remember we told you that the general consensus among sharps was that when Joel Embiid came back, the Sixers would kind of slow the pace down. Said time and time again, handicapping totals is much more about pace than it is offensive or defensive competence. But the pace really has not slowed down that much since Embiid came back into the lineup. So the sharps, at least right now, the big money, is betting on the over, even with Joel Embiid in the lineup. Sharp money today, Sharp versus Square, using Offshore Outlaw and our Vegas sources. Both the Miami Marlins and the Miami Marlins game to go under the total is where the sharp money is going. Brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Largest sign-up bonus in the industry if you use the promo code Duffy, D-U-F-F-Y. It also shows your support for these podcasts and videos and free information. MyBookie.ag makes it possible, so please use the promo code Duffy when setting up an account. But forget about just supporting us. More importantly, you will always be paid on time. And I mean always, always, always. There's a 100% certainty you'll be paid on time. Within 48 hours of request, you'll get paid. And I generally say 24 because for me it usually is about 24 hours. But give them 48 hours max. You're going to get paid on time every time. Major League Baseball free pick going against teams, good teams off a win is 218.4 units. Admittedly, better historically than it has been recently. We just tell you the facts. The free pick is to go with the Cubs and Chatwood, plus the 104 against Cleveland and Tomlin. Again, use the promo code Duffy at mybookie.ag for the biggest sign-up bonus in the industry. Win-win for everybody. You're going to get with a sports book where it's very easy to make your initial deposit and get that huge bonus. The money will show up immediately, and then, especially if you're a client of Joe Duffy's Picks, you're going to be collecting big money, and you'll get paid on time every single damn time. Like I said, been in this industry for approaching 30 years. I'm not going to piss away my reputation, for great reputation I built up, by sending you to a sports book that doesn't pay on time. And that's why at OffshoreInsiders.com we have the thoroughly vetted sportsbooks, thoroughly vetted handicappers, only the best, only the best. If you're a crap handicapper, you'll never be on OffshoreInsiders.com. And if you are a crap sportsbook, you'll never, ever, 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 ever be on OffshoreInsiders.com. Don't care how much money you try to bribe me, will not happen. My reputation is gold, and I'm not going to screw it up by, giving any advertising time to a crappy sportsbook. All handicappers and all sportsbooks vetted, thoroughly approved, OffshoreInsiders.com.
It's a new year, and with T-Mobile, it's not about how far apart we are. It's about how close we can be. So we're bringing out our best deal. Right now, get the iPhone 12 on us on every single plan with eligible iPhone trade-in.
So I can FaceTime with my sister in Savannah.
That's right, the iPhone 12 on us on every plan. All on America's 5G leader in coverage. T-Mobile.
With 24 monthly bill credits and a new line plus tax. If you cancel, credit stop and balance on required finance agreement may be due. Contact us for well-qualified buyers. Qualifying consumer plan required. See coverage and offer details at T-Mobile.com.